Well, it feels a little bit like I'm going to be playing a computer game. How many players in this team have played World Cups, European Championship, Champions League finals, Cup finals, won league titles? Like, it's an illustrious crowd.
Well, Emma, great to have you with me. You're one of the coaches for the Game4Ukraine. It's helping raise money for the Ukrainian people who've been affected by the conflict in that country. Just firstly, why did you want to take part in this?
I mean, apart from the fact that they're going to see some of the most incredible football players that have graced our planet, you know, coming together in a way that only football can, to not just raise money, raise awareness, and I think as a group of people realise the importance of, you know, what we can do to raise money for Ukraine is absolutely critical, and to do it at Stamford Bridge, you know, iconic stadium, I think will be a brilliant day for everyone.
You were in charge of England at Soccer Aid recently. How much can these events galvanise that kind of support from people for, you know, places such as Ukraine who are going through the most horrific times?
Yeah, I mean, having experienced Soccer Aid for a couple of years and seeing the work that goes on for UNICEF across the world, you know, I always talk about the impact football has. And once again, another brilliant opportunity to, you know, showcase not just the talent that's on show, but most importantly that we all stand united in support of Ukraine, and particularly for, you know, on behalf of Shevchenko and Zinchenko, that, you know, hopefully we can, you know, provide a day and a little bit of solace in what is, you know, a really, really difficult time for the country.
Be honest though, despite the fact it's a charity match, you're a born winner as a manager. How difficult is it sometimes to kind of take yourself out of it and go, all right, it's only a game for charity? You want to win, don't you?
You know what? That's why I struggled at Soccer Aid. I couldn't bear it. I struggled. Harry and I would be on the touchline and get a little antsy about, you know, going a goal behind. And I've looked at the lineups. I'm confident.
Yeah, talk to me about your team, because it's absolutely incredible.
Listen, I'm not going to give too much away, but what I will say is when you got three world-class goalkeepers, or two or three world-class goalkeepers, it starts there. But any team that can play with Cannavaro at the back is already at a good starting point. You've got Makaleli coming home to Chelsea and playing in a stadium he knows so well. Zola, Samuel Eto'o, Shevchenko, I mean, PK, Seedorf. These are names, players that have, you know, not just achieved at the highest level, but I'm sure they're all great competitors and they're all going to want to do well. So it's important I get the shape of the team right, because we're playing against a master of mind games, and I'm going to have to keep, you know, the selection close to my chest and make it difficult, because I'm sure, you know, Wenger is putting all the pressure on me to win and that our team's better. I'm sure he's saying that. No, classic deflection tactics. But we are setting up to win, I would say that much.
Yeah, it's unlike Arsene Wenger to make excuses already, isn't it?
I didn't want to say that. I was just, you know, I was just speaking aloud of what I thought might have been going on.
I mean, the game's on the 5th of August. You're probably going to need about a month to pick that team, aren't you?
Well, can you imagine having to tell those that are outside of the starting 11? You know, I mean, that's a job that no manager wants to do, but someone's got to do it, and I'll have to let them down, you know, in the best way I can.
Yeah. How excited are you, though, to have that kind of talent at your disposal? Because it's every football manager's dream, really, isn't it?
Well, it feels a little bit like I'm going to be playing a computer game, to be fair. I mean, there's so much talent on show. You think about the number of international caps in that group. You know, yes, there's players from all over the world, but how many players in this team have played World Cups, European Championship, Champions League finals, Cup finals, won league titles? Like, it's an illustrious crowd.
Yeah, and at Soccer Aid you had Paddy McGuinness in goal, so it's going to be a bit easier with that. You're obviously famous as well for your amazing team talks, Emma. Your Chelsea players talk about how brilliant they are. You change topic for each one. How are you going to get that lot fired up?
Look, we have a common goal, right? Let's competition aside, everybody wants the same thing. We want to we want to raise money, we want to raise awareness, and we're all united in our reasons for being there. But winners are winners, and the reality is there's zero chance I'm going to share that team talk with you here today. I will be working at it in the background, and they will know what it's about come kick off.
To be honest, I felt like I was in it at the start of that answer already. Really exciting. Now, you mentioned him already, your opposite number, Arsene Wenger.
Yeah.
Are you excited about the tactical battle up against him?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, listen, a man who's synonymous with pace, game intelligence, technique, and good movement. I saw a really good piece on the Coach's Voice the other day with Cesc Fabregas talking about the importance of trying to access the pivot, and the pivot not getting close to the fullbacks and just stay in the spaces. So thank you, Cesc, for that one. I'll know how to shut off that area. But listen, I know that Arsenal team, honestly, was one of the best football teams to watch ever, and I'm sure he's going to want the team to play in a certain way so that the fans can enjoy it, and it will be, I hope, an epic game.
Well, he's given you some very high praise ahead of this game as well. He said that your credentials are up there with some of the best coaches in world football. He says you revolutionised women's football as well. I mean, that's high praise indeed, isn't it?
Yeah, listen, I grew up playing at Arsenal as a kid, and when I first started working there in 2006, he was the manager at the time, and I remember watching him work, and he's been massively influential in my career. His style of play, you know, his thoughts, his ideas, particularly on young players and the development of young players. Mr. Wenger is a passionate football man whose experiences are second to none, and it's a great privilege to be able to line up on the touchline against one of the all-time greats.
What do you make in particular of what he said about you revolutionising women's football? Is that how you see it?
Football's football. And I don't think about it like that. I think that the women's game has been largely underdeveloped in comparison to the men's game, and I think there's been, you know, an acceleration of the game on and off the pitch, particularly the last 10 years, and just happens to be that I've been involved in the sport at that time, and I'm, you know, while I, you know, take those words from him, you know, very fondly, I know that the game getting to this point is the work and effort of so many of us.
You mentioned that he's been a big influence on you in terms of the way he's played football. Any other managers that you've taken things from? Who have been your influences in terms of your own footballing philosophy?
I think Arsene Wenger has been. The more I think about it, from the early years, in terms of a lot of those ideas around those four key principles, I think it's a little bit like, you know, having a favourite musician or a favourite band. You could have asked me that question 5 years ago and it would have been one thing. There might be parts of Pep Guardiola I like, and Thomas Tuchel I like, and De Zerbi I enjoyed from last year. I think it varies. I like good coaching, and ultimately I like watching the evolution of tactics and different influences the coach imparts on it. So no one standout for me, just different ones from different decades.
Almost like you've got a playlist of different managers and their styles.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be really tough for me to like pick out who would be my all-time top favourites. I loved watching Thomas Tuchel. I really did. I loved his work at Chelsea. I love Arsene Wenger. I love Pep Guardiola. I love Jurgen Klopp. I love Sir Alex Ferguson for very, very different things. I love Maurizio Pochettino. So, you know, that's on the men's side, and yeah, I don't know who it will be this year. I think I'll enjoy watching Ange Ball.
Oh yeah,
I have a feeling that's going to be fun to watch this year.
Fantastic, and good luck with the game.
Cheers, thank you. Hi, I'm Emma Hayes. You can listen to Game4Ukraine exclusively on talkSPORT.